told me don't get no poor performance. And whatever you gon' do, just do it. Never thought about doing music. I was trying to build my phone up. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since we've seen each other. My last video I put up was about 2 years ago, which is when I passed my NCLEX after failing the first time. If you want to see that video, just go to the previous video on my channel. So update, I've been a nurse for about 2 years, specifically a psych nurse. I did do my RN to BSN online because when I first graduated, I did only the associates, which was 2 years. I did my BSN all online. It definitely was challenging, but it was good for full-time nurses, you know, who work and have things to do. You can just do things online. The school I went to specifically, it definitely was a bit challenging and you had to put effort into it. So I did that while being a psych nurse. So just so you know, psych nurse, you really don't have to have any credentials to be a psych nurse. You know, you choose a field and you pick a job who, you know, are taking new nurses and then they just get trained. So typical duties, a normal day as a psych nurse. So I work on an adult floor. So pretty much 18 to 50, 55, sometimes 60. We do have a geriatric unit, but it depends on how the patient presents. As a charge nurse, you come in, you get report from the previous shift. They tell you, you know, the highlights or full report, depending on when you last were there. You do that, you see who has finger sticks, you know, your normal routine, make sure your patients are getting vital signs. You also, more importantly, make sure everyone is accounted for. Everybody that's supposed to be there is there. So you do finger sticks, give coverage to whoever is needed. Also, just want to know, everyone's duties and how they do things throughout the day can vary differently from job to job, even in the same job. This is normally how I do it. So we get our finger sticks, you know, pick up orders. My job is old-fashioned, so everything is handwritten, unfortunately. But, you know, we pick up orders. We pick up medication orders, regular orders, whether the patient needs to see medicine. If the patient just came in, then a medical doctor will be up to see them for their physical. We do that. Pass out, you know, the med nurse passes out meds, and then as the charge nurse, you get ready for rounds. So you get all the vital signs of your patients, you know, any refusals, any highlights on any of the patients. And you basically do rounds with each of the doctors for about, it's like anywhere from 2 hours, you know. Sometimes we have med students, so it takes longer because they're doing their presentations. That's it for the morning. You know, we do our rounds, get updated, keep update with orders, make sure patients don't need to be seen for anything by medicine. Basically make sure all the patients are stable. Now, a normal day would be just that. You know, you give rounds to the evening shift of our BHTs, which is behavioral health technicians. And then we pretty much pick notes. We split up notes between the nurses. We write notes on, you know, the patients that we have. Do, you know, our second round of vitals, third round of vitals, whichever is needed for that exact patient. So actually, psych is really not that bad. It's not a lot to do. What changes specifically as a charge nurse is if something were to happen, i.e. psych emergencies. I know it's probably what everybody's curious about because psych emergencies and psych wards seem like so ancient and scary and, you know, all the stuff that you see on movies, but psych is not like you see on movies, especially now. So psych emergency, it depends. Sometimes you can de-escalate the patient and sometimes you can't. Sometimes it has to be what we call as a takedown, doing PMCS techniques, which is techniques to protect pretty much the patient. So sometimes things escalate and we have to do that. Usually when that's done, we give IM medication, which is like your Ativan 2 milligrams, Benadryl 50, Haldol 5 in injection form. So if you hear B52, that's basically what it stands for. So we give that as a IM injection. If needed, then the patient may have to go into restraints. So that's why you call a psych emergency, which could be a psych alarm. You know, you press the psych alarm and then people from different floors come to help you out and handle the situation. There are times, honestly, when people do get hurt, which you want to avoid that, but you know, sometimes it happens where either the patient or both the patient and staff members do get hurt. So it's very interesting. So you pretty much manage that as a charge nurse and everything else that's, you know, going on a unit. Try to keep everything calm if you can. Now, as a medication nurse, you're picking up your orders, making sure all the things are up to date. Since it is handwritten, you just got to make sure you know, everything is crossed out that's old, everything's up to date, expiration's up to date. Got to make sure all of that is good and it matches the Pyxis system that we have. We are not electronic, so we got to match the MAR book to our Pyxis system, which never really matches, to be honest. So you always got to double check. But your MAR is what you stick to. That's what the patient's on. So we do that. We do have a swing shift, like a third shift nurse who comes in. So usually they take over meds at 1 o'clock or for the 6 o'clock. So you basically turn into the third nurse and you just help out wherever, pretty much. Oh, and another thing with the charge nurse, you do admissions, but like I said, if you work as a team, everybody pretty much does whatever to help the other one out. So you do admissions. So the admissions come from E&R. Either they can be a walk-in or they can come from another hospital. So you pretty much bring them in through E&R and they book them whichever unit fits appropriate, which doesn't always happen. You have to go back and forth about the appropriateness of the patient. And sometimes you don't win that battle, so that's just that. So yeah, pretty much my coworker that I work with, whether we're charge or meds, we help each other out. So it's really not even like an assigned role. So it's good when you work with people who work really well as a team, especially you got, you know, your person and things flow differently. So it's not really, oh, this is charge, this is meds. And it's not like, you know, that I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's like, no, we're helping each other out. So got lucky with that. That's not what everybody you work with, you know, you have your certain people. Some people, they stick to charge, they stick to meds, and they kind of don't help out as they should. But that's another story. So those are really the typical duties. You know, things happen, you know, throughout the day, like a patient's blood pressure may be high or a patient may have to go out to the hospital. It just, you know, you handle each day accordingly because things change. That's just how it is. And we mainly send people out for things because, like I said, we're a psych facility, we're not medicine, so we send them out to the nearest hospital. Other things about psych, sometimes you have like constants, which is your one-to-one observation. It could be for SI or HI, it depends, patient. The main thing is the patient safety, so sometimes you have to be on that one-to-one and, you know, make sure they're okay and they're not at harm to themselves or anyone. So psych emergencies, I went over, you push the alarm, get a hold of the doctor. Usually alarm comes off when the doctor is there, or you just call them to get the orders that you needed. Medical emergency, if that does happen, then, you know, you dial the number, they call a medical emergency. Again, people from other units come and they help you out, and then that patient, you know, gets sent out to the hospital to make sure everything's good. All right, so what I like about psych, it's kind of like, gives you this adrenaline sometimes when things happen, not to make it sound good because you don't want anything to happen, you want everybody to be safe, but you do get that adrenaline where, you know, things are going on, and during the moment you're a little stressed, high key, you're really stressed. But after it calms down, it kind of like, I don't know, it just keeps you on your toes, especially on an adult unit where they're high functioning and you just never know. So you kind of got to be on your toes. Also the teamwork, when you do have a good coworker or good coworkers, and you guys work amazing as a team, that makes the day go by so much faster. You got, everybody's just all together in one as a team. That's the good part. And then especially in small hospitals, like, you pretty much, everybody. So, it's more like a community thing. It's not like, you never saw this person, you never worked with this person. It's a lot of familiar faces. And if you just have a good team, it's just, it's good. And you do get to learn a lot of interesting things, especially if you have family members with mental health illness. So you kind of like see people, and it kind of just makes you think like, okay, so I have a better understanding of what this person's going through. It's just, not to get personal, but we all have family members who have mental illness. So it's just, it gives you a lot of food for thought. What I don't like as a psych nurse, I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be a psych nurse, but I guess it's pretty much just, people not sticking together and allowing patients to split you, and then you're doing certain things in front of the patient that shouldn't be done. Like, like you kind of going back and forth, or you're not sticking with your team, and you're kind of like letting the patient hear, the back and forth, and then that patient ends up splitting you guys. Like if you say no to a patient, another person says yes, and then it kind of makes the patient go back and forth with you guys, and it just splits the team. That's something that, tends to happen. Not all the time, but it tends to happen. Another thing as a psych nurse, I guess like people just making calls, coming to your unit and kind of like making calls when they don't know the situation or the patient, and they kind of overstep. I don't mind like feedback, but when you overstep and do something that wasn't agreed on, I just, it kind of doesn't make for the safest condition, but that's another like pet peeve I have. Also when like we get patients that really don't need to even be there. Either they don't need to be there because they don't really have a psych problem, or they're just super violent where they belong in jail, and like, how are you keeping this person in the psych ward? They need to be in jail. So that's another thing, like the type of admissions that they book just to fill a bed is mind-boggling, because you do put your staff at risk when you have a very violent patient, and then they're not supposed to come back and they still come back. So that's definitely a pet peeve. And short staff, but there's short staff everywhere, so it doesn't matter. Psych, regular nursing, med surge, ER, they're short staffed everywhere. So that's just nursing in general. So if you are interested in becoming a psych nurse, I don't know if I mentioned it, but you do not really need any special training. They have on-the-job training. Like as a new nurse, I just applied, got the job, and then they train you for, the techniques that you need. You don't need a certification. Is it nice to get a certification? Yes, it is. You can get it. I thought about it, but I didn't get it because, little update too, that I didn't get to, I am in NP school to become a Psych NP. So I'm not gonna spend extra money on that when I'm becoming a Psych NP, but you can get a certification for Psych if you need to. So that brings me to my update about being a Psych NP, or going to school. So I'm only on semester 1, which I just finished, and I actually did pretty good. So I started in the fall. It was pretty challenging, I have to say. It felt like I was back in undergrad RN nursing school when I just got my associates. It did feel like that at the beginning. A lot of studying, definitely challenging at the beginning, and you have to transition of thinking as just a regular nurse to a provider. So that is different for me, and you're doing hands-on. It is an online program, but you still have to do hands-on and do a lot of recordings like these. But I can, if you want to know more, I will do a separate video. If you want to see that, I will definitely do a separate video about the classes, what's to be expected, what you got to do to pass, the grades needed to be passed, all of that you want to know about Psych NP. Just let me know and I'll post another video. So yeah, just let me know about the videos you want to see. I am going to put up a little link. I did start selling invitations, weddings, birthdays, invites. So I am going to post that link up. It's on Etsy at my shop. So support Black business. You know, we need invitations for anything, for your 30th birthday, for your kid's birthday. If you got a wedding coming up, you know, just have at it. Check them out. Purchase, purchase, purchase. Also, subscribe to my channel for more videos because, you know, I remember those days when I was watching all these YouTube videos, like trying to figure out what it felt like to be a nurse, how school was gonna be, what life after school was gonna be as a nurse. And I have to admit, it has its ups and downs, and psych can be mentally draining. And that's why you have to check yourself before you walk in that door to make sure you're not bringing your emotions and you're actually thinking with a clean head, because there's gonna be times where you're gonna be stressed. That's just human nature. You're gonna have to back up from a situation to reevaluate your emotional state, because things do happen, you know. But I love nursing and I will forever be a nurse, but you know, times do come up where you wanna do a little change and cut back, but yeah, I love nursing. Yeah, it's just a great choice, and I'm happy that I'm pursuing my dream. What I wanted to do is to eventually be a Psych NP, and I took those steps, even though it took me a little longer because all the schools I had to go to. But I'm happy I did what I did, and I'm happy that I now can share my experience. It's just so much thing has happened in 2 years. Like I even precept. Like, who would have even thought, like, I just graduated nursing school, was a nurse, and then, you know, you're already precepting and teaching other people, and you're like, wow, like, who would have thought? Like, it was just a dream once, and now it's like reality. So if you're going for nursing, stick it out. It's gonna be challenging, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be mentally draining. People are gonna test you, people are gonna challenge you. But just push through and you always gotta have one person, I have to say, to just lean on and to bounce off of to get you through nursing. Like that one classmate, you know, who you become friends with, whatever the case may be, just to like hold you, you know, accountable and just to get things done, you know. But thank you for looking at my channel and my video. Hope to see you soon. Bye.